Hello Satnam, it's me Shakti Sundari, back with you today for the next reading from the Radiance Sutras by Lauren Roche. Late today, here where I'm reading from in London, UK, it's 11:30 at night, almost midnight, and first chance I've had or felt to read today from the sutras. I finally got to dance today. Finally got to dance. Remembering yesterday's Yukti verse, which was all about dancing until you're ready to drop. Surrendering to the swirl of emotions. And becoming the body of ecstasy. So that was yesterday's Yukti verse, and I really became that today, and it was so good to remember that I'm a dancer and that I dance, and that dancing is my lifeblood, my way of being, my way of expressing who I am beyond this form, my way of coming home to self, my way of remembering the truth, my way of feeling immense gratitude for life. Immense joy, immense ecstasy. It was very beautiful as I was dancing. At one point I looked up, the dance was in a church, beautiful church actually, with beautiful paintings and arched roof, and then I was super ecstatic and I looked up from my ecstasy and saw right in front of me a figure on the wall, a statue of Jesus Christ. There he was, and there I was in my ecstasy, and a room, a church full of people in ecstasy through the dance. And I thought how beautiful it is that we were celebrating ourselves and life through dance in a church, and that the church is being used in this way for the remembrance of who we really are and the celebration of life. So beautiful. So we are on Yukti verse 89 today. It's another long translation. Suddenly they've gone long, you know, they were short and brief and now they're long. So let me read to you tonight's verse. Yukti verse 89 from the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. And here's the Sanskrit. Adareshu atava ashaktya ajnanat chitalayena va jata shakti samavesha kshoba ante bharavam vapu. And I'll read it again. Adareshu atava ashaktya ajnanat chitalayena va jata shakti samavesha kshoba ante bharavam vapu. Fills me with such joy every time I read the Sanskrit. And then here is Lauren Roche's translation. It's quite long. This is good. You are stunned, powerless. You thought you knew what was going on. Now you realize you don't have a clue. You are stopped in your tracks. Everything within your skin is shaking. Enter this shaking. Get curious. Look around inside with wonder. Unmind your mind. All the walls have fallen down. Go ahead and dissolve. The one who has always been, who has seen much worse than this, is still here. I find such power and mystery and wonder and glory and truth in these words. So this translation, this verse, is speaking to that point in life. Well, I've had many of these points where everything seems to be falling down, crumbling away before our eyes. Everything we thought we knew was true, everything that we believed was going to happen, everything we'd just gotten secure in the knowing of and in the trusting of has fallen away. All the beliefs that we had may have been shattered. It can be so immensely unsettling for our ego and for our beingness when something like this happens. You know, I've just experienced that very recently in a beloved that I thought loved me and I was going to spend the rest of my life with, actually saying that's not what he wanted. And all of my dreams, all of my plans, everything that I'd mapped out for myself was just crumbled, washed away, taken away, shattered. And I was left without that to hold on to, without the future I'd predicted or forecast or imagined and dreamt of. You know, but this has happened in so many other parts of my life and so many other times, and I'm sure for many of you in different ways, you know, the loss of something or somebody, bankruptcy, debt, losing a job, a relationship falling apart, becoming ill, all kinds of aspects of life. These are all parts of life. Everyone knows this. But suddenly, what we thought we knew, when we really thought we had a grip on things, now you realize you don't have a clue. And that can feel so bewildering, so alienating. When we're betrayed, someone we trusted, we thought they were telling us the truth, we took their words in, and then suddenly they act or say something which completely undermines all of that. We're left wondering, what now? What can I hold on to? Where is the truth? What can I trust? Who can I trust? What can I believe in? What is left when all of these beliefs, all of these people, all of these things, all of these attachments, all of these ideas, all of these dreams are proven or shown in that moment to be on very shaky ground or to have disappeared completely? As the verse says, you are stunned, powerless, powerless. You are stopped in your tracks. Everything within your skin is shaking. This may be the shaking of fear. Maybe it's the shaking of anger. We all know that when animals are traumatized, they shake. Or frightened, they shake to release that from the body, right? And we need to do this with our own bodies too. In the dance tonight, at one point, we'd moved through flowing, this is the 5 rhythms, and staccato, and we were entering into chaos, and then the teacher gave the invitation just to shake, and I think for a whole track, maybe even 2 tracks, the invitation was to shake. As a tantric practitioner, as a tantrika, I recognize shaking Kundalini shaking as a way of activating my sexual energy. And, you know, very quickly by shaking the body, my Kundalini is activated. But it's also a way of letting go, of releasing everything that's held in the body. Because if we don't release what's in the body, nothing changes. Everything is held in the cells. Memories, traumas, beliefs, emotions. They're stored in the body, and we have to move and change the body in order for these structures, beliefs, systems, emotions to move on. I remembered this tonight with such relief and gratitude to move my body again after having been quite still and motionless in a way, because I had been so impacted by the trauma, the upset, the emotion of everything that I've been feeling, that I haven't really moved a lot compared to what I'm used to. And it was so good to shake. It was so good to dance until my clothes were dripping with sweat and I was red in the face. Coming back to the verse, you are stopped in your tracks. Everything within your skin is shaking. And then the invitation is, enter this shaking. Don't run away from it. Don't try and stop it. Get curious. Look around inside with wonder. This reminds me of a talk that I was listening to today by spiritual teacher Matt Kahn. Really good talk in which he speaks about the importance of the body and how, rather than talking about waking up spiritually, we could talk about the body catching up with our consciousness. And he talked about these two aspects: consciousness, which is our higher awakened true self, and the body. And it's the body that's having this journey of experience. And sometimes the body just needs time to heal, time to process, time to understand in its own way, and consciousness can't force that. It has to love, embrace, allow, accept that. And so enter this shaking, get curious, let your consciousness embrace your fear, your anger, your trembling, your brokenness with curiosity and wonder. Unmind your mind. Enter into the sensation, this moment, not the future, not the past, but this sensation, this experience now. All the walls have fallen down. Go ahead and dissolve. The ego is so afraid of dissolving. The ego is so afraid of letting go, of being lost, of being broken, of death. Ultimately, the ego is afraid of its own death. But you know, I can speak from experience. My walls have fallen down many times. I have dissolved many times. And in my own experience, every time I have fallen down and dissolved and let go and felt hopeless, powerless, not knowing anything, at some point I have risen. It makes me think of the Christ images that were in the church, and I was looking at the images of Christ on the cross, you know, and thinking of that image of him suffering. He suffered pain, physical pain, emotional pain, spiritual pain, and then he was reborn. Not to say that I am Christ or anything like that, but it's that spiritual journey that we go through of dying and being reborn. Go ahead and dissolve. What's the worst that can happen? It's only the ego that's afraid. In my experience, I have risen every time, and every time I've risen, more whole, more true, more real, more love, more me. So there's a beauty in that, even though it's frightening and scary and difficult, or it can be, if that's what we tell ourselves. No, it is. I mean, yeah, it's difficult. Final few lines. The one who has always been, all in capitals, The one who has always been. The one who has always been. And who is that? What is that? Who has seen much worse than this. Whether that's in your own life, other people's lives, just cast your awareness out and recognize there is so much worse than this. You think you've got it bad, there's so much worse than this. You think this is terrible, I'm sure there has been so much worse than this in your own experience or that of someone you know. The one who's always been is still here. This eternal part of you that never dies has seen it all, every part, and worse, is still here. And there's such a silence and such a stillness that then enters our being when we recognize that the one who's always been is still here. Whatever's going on in the body, in the experience of now. So again, this is a verse where we can't really fake the situation. We have to wait until it happens and then remember the teachings. But when you do get to that point, or if you ever do, when you're stunned, powerless, everything you knew is gone, you realize you don't have a clue, you're stopped in your tracks, and everything inside your skin is shaking, enter this shaking, get curious, unmind your mind, dissolve, and then notice the one who has always been and who has seen much worse than this is still here. Yum, yum, yum. Thank you for being with me, and join me again tomorrow for the next reading from the Radiance Sutras. Sat Nam and much love.